So I've
But
gotten
real journalists do.
I've gotten multiple requests to be interviewed, and I talked to Luke about it, and he said, let's hold off. So
Okay.
I have been asked on 2 shows, and I told him we have to wait.
Yeah.
Both of them you know very well.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, we're up. Only a few minutes behind. Great Moose. We need to send a message to Tim to have him. I don't think he's available, just to see.
Yeah.
Everything looks good.
Your
with the
repurposed
stream.
freighter drifts through space.
It better look good because I didn't have
As you
time to
stare
do
out
any
at the stars
checks or tests or
another
anything
ship
today.
comes in. Wait,
What's up, Chris?
Yeah.
is this sci-fi?
Yeah,
I thought
so
we agreed
That's
on
the
a World
thing
War
with
II
Easter.
campaign.
You're out having
Chiller, what's
fun.
up? Yeah, I
Did
had no time to
That's
do
cool.
any
I can pivot.
tests tonight.
The smell of smoke
Retest, so
curdles
it's
in
screwed
my
up.
I'm the only one that
nostrils. Hold up,
works
I thought we were
really hard.
prepping for a
I've
zombie
worked
apocalypse campaign.
now since we were out grocery shopping. So since 10,
All
now
right,
I've
here's what we're
actually
doing. It's the year
been
3700.
working
Humanity's elite fled to other
except for
planets
the
long
last
ago,
half
taking with
hour
them
where
all
I
forms of
actually
advanced
had a working
technology.
lunch, and
Earth
I've been
survivors
sitting here
scrape by with
done
historic
useful
tools as
work, and I
weird
took half an
phenomena
hour off
plague abandoned
and
nuclear sites.
knowing that
Witnesses
people have
report
this, and
seeing
then I'll walk
glowing
to
lights
Hey,
and
Jeff.
the dead rising from their
Jeff,
graves.
you're
And
home?
amidst the chaos, 3 strangers will meet in a dim
Hello.
bar. A veteran
Good to
zombie
see you,
slayer,
man.
a disgraced general out for revenge,
So now
and a
finally
space
I'm starting to
mercenary sent
feel
to
like
investigate the power
I'm
plants. Now
getting
describe your
back in the
characters.
groove, and
Good.
I get
How
stuff
did
done.
you
So
do
yeah,
that?
I've made
I have the
big
right
progress.
tools
So
for
I'm
the job.
like, yes,
Yeah,
this is
well,
good.
I actually solved the problem of this class in the shower. So
Oh,
we'll
good.
see. We'll see.
Yep.
You know,
It's
got a lot
you
of-
shower when you're out hiking and stuff. That's
yeah.
when you.
Now the WotC people may say it's too powerful. I added too much, but I didn't. It fits perfectly with the shield land. So yeah. But we'll see. Oh, you know, you can't win them all. Everyone.
Nope, that's the-
Hope
yeah.
everyone's doing well. Yeah. All right. So there's a lot of confusion on the giveaway. As long as we have some kind of hype train, I'm going to be giving away a Black Oak dice set and bag. As long as we have some kind, it should be going now. All right. I'll just set that up right this minute. Lots going on. Ed's coming on 2 weeks from tonight. So he's got that
The
locked in.
story once
Multiple
spoken
games this week
is
locked in.
ageless.
Our
The dungeon
Legends of Lore game,
imagined
Legends of Lore
without
discussion
end.
locked in. So I'm
The
gonna roll.
curious are the ones most
So
courageous.
pretty good shape here.
The
Should be
tree
good.
that endures
Ah.
has to bend. From stillness,
Hey, Holy Flame.
the mad
Forward,
mage
forth.
is
What's up,
stirring.
everyone? Sparky.
From
everyone
countless
doing?
voices, the castle takes shape. Zagig will test the enduring. Those unlucky will never escape.
Hey, Ben. Good to see you. I know you're way far away. All right. Hey, John. Oh wow! And this one I can log into my old one.
Okay,
That's
there you
weird.
go.
On the
Now you're active there, so.
yeah, that's just weird. Whoops, wrong button.
Your repurposed
Wrong
freighter
button.
drifts through space.
Wrong button. Wrong button.
As
Wrong button. Wrong
POV,
button.
I
Wrong
had
button.
30
Six
minutes
wrong
before
buttons.
my
Sorry.
campaign group showed up, and I was totally unprepared. I grabbed my ready, set, encounter box, and boom, everything I needed for an epic session. Adventure hooks, map tiles, loot tables, stat blocks, and miniatures, all ready to go. My players still think I spent hours planning our great dragon encounter. If you're a busy dungeon master, get Ready, Set, Encounter live now on Kickstarter. POV, I had 30 minutes before my campaign group showed up, and I was totally unprepared. I grabbed my Ready, Set, Encounter box, and boom, everything I needed for an epic session. Adventure hooks, map tiles, loot tables, stat blocks, and miniatures, all ready to go. My players still think I spent hours planning our great dragon encounter. If you're a busy dungeon master, get Ready, Set, Encounter live now on Kickstarter.
Hey, Mandy. Let's see if my shout out works for you on this computer. Hold on. I need to find it. Oh! Let me see if my new shout out for Frog God works. There we go. All right, there. There you go. Yeah, Michael. Good to see you on, man. Good to be on. Josh, so Josh is texting me something. That's terrible, Josh. Oh my God. Josh is giving me trouble.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's just giving me trouble. Alright, so I can't believe I can log in on this machine on my computer on the old Lurkers on my account, but I can't do it on the new. Oh my God, I just can't believe it.
There's some cookie
There's some
settings
cookie
or
stuff
something.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, cool. Yeah, I just got back, so that's why I'm running a hair late. It didn't even change. I just came in with what I was wearing and went with that, so. Check something real quick here. No one responded to my post, so just give me some thumbs up, that's all. Alright. I can't share it because alright, not gonna worry about it. Dun, dun, dun. Haha, you wanna use a Warble Bunny, Sparky? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna leave my contacts in and have my reading lists on. Come alive. Alright. Whew. I got reading glasses on here, so I got my contacts in still. There you go. So I can see you all. What's up? Jump, and Jodic. What's going on? And hello to everyone. Hope you're enjoying your Easter if you celebrate it. I was at a party over, we had both our families over at my friend's house. Watched Flyers win in overtime, which was awesome. So that's why we're a little late. Now we're here. Anna and me. Maybe I'll have some other people jump on if they're available. We'll see. So,
Yeah.
this one came to me just we've gone at this at different directions tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that? Holy Gotcha. Well, this one in different directions, but I think this one, just we're going to talk about some of the published source, maybe talk about our favorites and how we've used them in the game. Simple, everyone. Simple. And then you bring up your own, because there's a lot of great published source characters that you can utilize that aren't going to mess up canon. Like if you use the entire Circle of Eight every adventure, then you're going to have a problem. If you kill off the Circle of Eight every adventure, like what happened in second edition, well, then you're going to have a problem with if you want to follow through to certain other, to the Living Greyhawk era or whatever. So the key is find some NPCs that aren't going to break the grand scheme of what the published source data is, right, Anna? Simple. So here we go. I was going to do a classic D&D reprint giveaway. I'm like, you know what? It's Easter, so Black Oak Workshop red dragon dice, along with a bag that's red as well. I know it's not dragon on there, but still very cool. There you go. All right, that's like a $50 value for you all. Yes, Gianni could win a second one, so we'll do that. Red, absolutely. Big fans of Black Oak. Yes, absolutely. Black Oak, it's awesome. You know that, Curtis. I'm going to be taking this off soon. Ah, yeah, you can win multiple times. Anna, your thoughts on this topic?
Well,
I'm
yeah, to
texting.
use public, I think you touched on a couple of the important bits when you introduced it. I feel like, yeah, you kind of get into canon and stuff, and it always feels like if you introduce NPCs, meaning they're two main type of NPCs, meaning we have the villains and we have everybody else. And everybody else are the ones that are just there to they're part of the scenery, so to speak. They give information. They're just there to interact with, from the barkeeps to named city guards to whatever. They're not there to be slaughtered, but players would not primarily think of them as enemies, so to speak. And that's where I think most of the named NPCs in my comes in, because once you start dealing with villains and NPCs that named monsters and named creatures that are there for the players to kill, that's when you start decimating your enemies list, so to speak, your villains list. And that's where I think you need to have lots of them. So I usually invent 10 NPCs in my campaign, at least the named
Okay.
ones on per each one that are in canon, so to speak, or in published lore, maybe even 20. Because the most of the stuff that are when it comes to villains that are in the published sources, they are so high up in the hierarchy that they will be the top villains in my campaign. Like my Shieldlands campaign, I probably have like 20 or 30 named ones that are from in the published sources, but I probably have 200 or 300 named ones that are there, and they are the ones I expect to have killed primarily, so to speak, and they are basically there to have something for the players to deal with. And
So
yeah,
I don't know my total. It's a guess. Thanks, Moose. Click it on there. Get that hype train rolling.
yeah.
So
But it's the principle. Yeah, when you deal with it, then you. But on the other hand, some people love to mess up your Greyhawk lore and just go with it.
Yeah, which you can. I'm taking my contacts out on stream, everyone, so you can watch how disgusting that is. There's one. There's two. Boom, into the trash can. They're daily disposables. Bring the regular glasses on. They were bothering me. Wearing the reading glasses was bothering my eyes a little bit. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know. The total between PCs and NPCs in my game is anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000, right? Over all these 46 years, I've got some really obscure ones that are in published source and ones that are not. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And of course, I don't mind killing off the ones that are in my own creation a lot more than the ones that are not. Right? The ones that
Yeah,
are.
meaning you introduce a lot of low-level intermediaries and
Yes.
stuff like that, because most of the things that are mentioned in as opponents and villains and other, they are rulers, they are high-level henchmen to others and stuff. So Meaning, look at I Use the Evil. If you named in that book, you're like 10th level plus, and you are on a level that, or someone that the characters below 10th level shouldn't have any reason to interact with.
But
Maybe
didn't you
even see
wait?
at a distance. Yeah,
You killed
exactly.
one
Hmm.
that was
Yep.
from like second, third level characters killed him.
Yes, because I wanted to introduce him as something cool just for the players to interact with, and things went haywire quickly. Yeah.
Ah, that's so
And that
funny.
was also part of me not understanding the rule systems and just
Right.
experimented. I took a
Hey,
risk
Tiffany,
and I took a chance and
I got
it
your shout out
backfired,
in too.
kind of thing.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at that. Oh, wait a minute. Look what I got, everyone. Dun 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 dun. All three, all signed. Thanks, Tiffany. Dun dun dun. Right. These are my copies, by the way. Books. Yep. Got Tiffany's books here. Signed. Like I said, I was a bit jacked and off today. Getting they are absolutely. So let's go back to the early days. What Michael Zuzak said. Michael Z. This is if you get this. Is this available on drive-through? Everyone, get it.
Yes, I think it
You
is.
gotta get. If you find I have a hard copy
I
of it.
think it is. I have a
But
hard copy of it
yeah,
too, but let me
what?
see if
Yeah,
it's
you gotta
available.
get this
I'll,
book. This book is so like. This is so. If you want a book that like is so nostalgic, this is it. Because yeah. So Mandy, Curtis hasn't given me the 100% he's in yet, or Brett, but the rest of the crew is set, so we're going to be good for next Saturday. In fact, I do have a banner for it done, which I got before I left today, so I've been running around. But like this
yeah,
Rogues Gallery, Brian Bloom with Dave Cook and Gene Wells, so it goes. It's 1980. But it goes over and all it does, and there's this great artwork from Darlene here too, right? That's Darlene's artwork
yeah. Hmm.
in here.
Oh, thank you. I did look in chat. Thank you,
Yeah,
Patrick, for
yep.
linking it. Yep. So you can find it both on DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG.
All right,
I
so
guess all
Curtis
the
is
old
in.
stuff is.
Woo! Curtis is in. Awesome. That's great. Curtis is in for next week with his fairly new character. Me and like Earl Otis, great artwork. That's like that's my favorite Roper picture of all time, right there. Just yeah, really great artwork. Stats, Rosie, yes, they may absolutely. So everything's sideways, unfortunately. So like here it is. It's just like, oh, here you need a character. Here's an assassin. All the stats, right? And it keeps on going. Bards, right? Clark once messed up a bit. Oh no, there it is. It's on our page. Clerics, just all the stats you need. Druids. That's another great druid picture with a mind flare doing insect plague on them. It's sideways. Fighters, just stats. That's all it is. Illusionist doing demi shadow magic. Another cool. Who did that artwork? It looks like I can't tell. Is that That's got to be Diesel. That looks like Diesel's.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
a very early one, so
yeah. I
yeah.
think that's Diesel. So thank you all for the hype train here. Let's keep on going. So keep on going. All by class, by the base classes here. Monks. Yeah. Don't screw around with her. She'll kick your ass. Multi-class characters, all sorts of multi-class characters. Like I said, it's a bad PDF I have. Paladin, all sideways. I think the other stuff will be straight up and down. Now I'm trying to get to Rangers, Paladins, another great artwork. I think it's Otis as well. Yep, Earl Otis. Ranger with an owlbear. Thieves, almost done here. Sages. See, a lot of people forget about 0 level characters, all sorts of caravans, city guards, pilgrims, bandits, buccaneers. You got a lot of stuff in here. Quaddle, Corinne, Shadu. For some reason, I don't know. They decided to put them in there. Liches. Oh, that's great. Just throw a lich in. Dungeon parties to go against. And we're trying to get to what's even really cool here. Personalities. Here we go. All right. These are all characters that were actually played back in the day. What's up, Patrick? Thank you very much. Classic characters here. And it tells you who played them here. Ararat, Tim Giardini, right? Bigby. There you go there, Tiffany. Bigby is only level 13 here. 13th. He's 13th in this when this was done, 1980. Yep. There's Bigby. I can't see. Yeah, that's C. Seattle Trildar, Northman. Gene Wells' character. That Gene Wells just passed, didn't she? She just passed.
Yeah, I
Gene
think
Wells.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just passed. Yeah,
Yep.
that was your guy. Fletcher Dendaria, Bob Waldbauer. All characters that are like, some of them are higher, but 8th, 9th, 10th. Right? Arak's cousin. This is Ernie Gygax's. Really a lawful. This is a legendary character, and that's not him right there. That's Grimslade, I believe, with his pet wombat. It looks like a miniature Umberhulk. There's Grimslade. Yeah, that's Harold Johnson's character. Harold was at GaryCon. Yeah. I mean, this is such classic stuff. You want to go back to the early days of the campaign. This is about as early as you're going to get in published source anywhere, right? That you're going to find all these NPCs you could use. Gormadoc, Greg Fleming, Lanolin, Lawrence Schick. This is a chaotic evil elf fighter mage. Yeah, bad guy. There he is. Yep, he even did his own. That's Fleming did the artwork for Lanolin. Yep. Le Silver in the Dark. Alan Hammock. Another person was at GaryCon. Right? Helen Cook. Is that Zeb Cook's wife? Maybe. Luther.
Maybe. Yeah.
Mornicane and Gary Gygax. Phoebus, Jeff Leeson. Phoebus got reincarnated and turned into a lizard man. This is an early old school, so don't say they weren't playing crazy stuff as player characters back in the day. There's 2 of them in here that with the reincarnate spell, they got turned from like something human or something demi-human into humanoid. Thank you for the hype train. Yeah, it's Schick did, I believe, 8-2. That's another Diesel picture. Rigby, that's Gary Gygax. Rigby is cleric. Rigby appears in the very last adventure, Expedition Ruins of Greyhawk 2008. In fact, he's dead in that adventure. He comes into Greyhawk City dead. There's Roblar by Rob Kuntz. An early Roblar. He's definitely lawful evil. Absolutely. Does not have his stone horse. Then don't ever say that stone horse around Rob. Rob hates it. It said I never had a stone horse. That was added. So yeah, this is what we got to deal with.
Or we can be sure that this text have been edited and turned into a product by TSR. So yeah.
There's no stone horse here. No, that happens during Barry the Trader. Certain, another one by Ernie Gygax. Talbot, David Zeb Cook. That's David Cook, Zeb Cook, right? There's Talbot. Talbot is there you go. Talbot's a centaur. That turned into a fighter. Yep, fighter. He got, there was, once again, no raised dead around here. And here's Tensor, Ernie's. So, quick note on the artist. The size D is Jeff D. Diesel typically is DSL. Thank you. Yep, you're right. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you. Valerius Earl Otis. So there you go. So, early era player characters. And why am I bringing this up now? Well, they're all from first edition, right? But if you're going to go back and reset your Greyhawk campaign, you want lower level characters. So maybe down the road, there's going to be a publication coming out that goes back into the 570s, right, Anna? Something maybe we're working on. And you want to have some other player characters. NPCs, here you go. Early era.
Yeah, that's true. This Rogues Gallery is set around 576-ish.
Yep.
Kind of.
I think it's 573
roughly.
to 575.
But on the other hand, I'm not sure that Gary kept time that way detailed in his own Greyhawk campaign. So but in published source, this probably should be treated as roughly the early era. So yeah. And since it's not a Greyhawk campaign book, it's more like this is a
Yep.
branded D&D in general. So yeah.
If anyone has, let me see here. We don't have any mods. I was gonna say just knock that Streamlab thing, best viewers out, but don't worry about it. For now, not a big deal. No one
They
cares.
pop in all the time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay.
The
It's
best,
okay.
you know that the best viewers are already in chat. Yeah.
That's right. So
Mhm.
this is a legendary publication, just to take a look at some of these early characters, just to see what they had and how. Like here, here Valerius. Here's the entire stat block, right? He's got his stats here, some background, and then your items. Like so, and that's it. That's all they had. That's all they had for the characters there. Hey, what's up, McLeod? Yeah, so
Hello.
just note this is a good place to start. You're going to go, wow, I want some named players back from the early days of the campaign. Here it is. Okay, you see these pop up in other things here and there, but really a lot of these, like Phoebus, especially Talbot, they don't even reappear. Like some like certain reappear, and Eric's cousin appears in like one adventure, I think. But like most, if they're not Circle of Eight members or they're not like Tensor, they're not reappearing. So, yeah. All right.
I think my Greyhawk, sorry, Shieldlands campaign suffer from the thing that Shieldlands is kind of a borderlands region, is away from where most of the core stuff happens in the campaign. It's one of these kind of out there in the boondocks area, so it's far away on the other side of near Div, and that was part of the allure, the part got me
Right.
into running Shieldlands, because it was kind of out there on the fringes and not part of the core setting. I definitely want to go back in running an Elven campaign that will be run set Wild Coast, Selene, Sus, and all that stuff that are part of the core setting. So yeah. So in the future, I definitely want to go back to this area. But Shieldlands are not devoid of but very few NPCs from the early era, so to speak, from 570 early products. They come in Carl Sargent era with the Marklands and the I use the evil and later products. That's when Shieldlands got populated with
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's kind of typical. Most of the Greyhawk outside of the core setting, the Wild Coast and Hamlet and the city of Greyhawk and that kind of central where it got started. The rest of it is populated in later publication history, so to speak, not the early years.
100%, Anna.
Yeah, which I think it's also in some ways important if you pay a lot of attention to when you want to run your game. But on the other hand, a lot of that stuff that was invented by the Sargent era and second edition era and later, it can be assumed that they existed and lived and did things back in 576 as well. So that's where you, meaning a lot of it, like Siege, for instance, he's one of these that he bailed and became a traitor to the Shieldlanders in 578 or something like that, just after 576, I think. And that meant that he was already a member of the Order of the Shield in 576. So he was there. So you can then go backtrack things. So yeah. Are we having issues?
No, no, no. I'm just no. You said Zeech, and I wish I had a
Ah,
gun.
yeah.
I had.
Yeah. No, but I thought he was a good. I think he's a good. In that sense, he's not good, but a good example of something that could be assumed that he
Right.
needed to have existed back in 576, even if he was invented later on in Greyhawk's publication history, like Alahaster and the whole shebang around him. All of that is created after the first generation of or during Gary's reign at TSR, so to speak. So the early years of Greyhawk publication, he wasn't invented. He was then invented and his backstory was inserted into the setting in a way that I think is really cool, that he fitted in the picture, so to speak. And then that gave both the Bandit Kingdoms and Shieldlands a richer back history that you can then use in your own campaign or whatever, if you want to use it.
But like normal, Too much of something is not a good thing.
No, but the thing
yeah.
is that what is too much, that is very, very subjective. In some ways, I think it's totally subjective.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
too much of Vecna. Yeah, too much
Yeah,
Vecna, too much
I can.
Mordenkainen.
When I got Vecna in my flight sim, that kind of broke the limit to some
This is
degree.
a flight sim.
Oh yeah, they got a Stranger Things add-on to
Oh
Microsoft
my
Flight
god.
Sim. So
Oh
Vecna
my
is
god.
literally in my flight sim. I never ever
Oh
thought
my
that would happen
god.
ever. And that was kind of nah, I think Vecna has escaped a bit too far
Oh
away
my
from Greyhawk now. So yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, when I see a car with Stranger Things rolling on the street or something like that, I will be like, oh, this is not good.
Oh my, that's just crazy.
Yeah. But Siege, in my opinion, has not gone that far yet. So
Yeah,
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
So, all right. Let's talk about some things that, like,
Hmm.
from a learned experience, you get opportunities, and depending on how you run your campaign, whether you run your campaign linearly or like I do, depending on how many groups you are, you can jump around a little bit in time. Not a lot, but you can go back depending on where, you know, you're not like running a group and they take 2 months and then all the other groups don't do anything in that time, right? I don't do that. But there are opportunities that will present itself, and this is one of the
Hmm.
things I learned early on is there are characters you just don't want to kill off early. What's up, Mike? If you're bored, Mike, you want to come on, please feel free. You may have some great
Yeah.
NPCs as well. um, there are some that I wish I hadn't killed, and I go back to this all the time. You're like, oh, you can bring them back now. I'm like, it's too late. I'll bring this picture up because they actually made a figure of this character. One of my and it's a great character. It's kind of doesn't make sense why in some things people don't, why does this person worship Loth, a human male cleric? And that is
Oh,
Lareth the Beautiful, right?
yeah.
This is I
Hmm.
actually have the miniature for him downstairs too. This is plastic. You know, Moat House, running that, man, what an opportunity missed. For an evil
Hmm.
NPC, I should have had him somehow get him. Yeah, should early on. Should have. Learned lesson from that. That was
But
number
he's
one.
the yeah, but he's the typical type of villain that gets introduced. He could be cool, but he gets killed the first session, and that will be it, so to speak.
Yeah,
He kind of
unfortunately, that's
disappears.
kind of what happened.
Yeah, because he's the kind
Yeah,
of cannon fodder. He gets exposed
yeah,
to the characters. Even if he survives the first encounter, he will probably not survive the second or the third. He's there to be killed for the most part.
yeah. You're right, Anna. But
Yeah, that's
he,
why you need 3 times as many Lareth the Beautifuls as because 2/3 of them should get killed fairly quickly, so to speak, and disappear. And
he,
there's only a few that will remain.
yeah.
Yeah.
BB, who knows? Who knows why? It just, it's one of those things. He had, the eye, from
And
the
this
temples,
is
and
another point with this because when you have like an encounter, let's say you have an encounter just outside the temple with someone like Lareth the Beautiful, or
mm,
outside the adventuring, you come to a location and there's like an interaction with not the major villain, but a henchman to the major big bad evil guy, so to speak. And you kill them. I think it's very important that that henchman have other named henchmen that can run away or come and then become. So you need to introduce helpers and aides and others so you have enough that can run away or just be there and not be killed so you can reintroduce them afterwards because a good villain is someone that players know and have interacted with before they kill them, so to speak.
yeah.
That makes the game more so that's why you always need to introduce lots of them and then assume that the players will kill some of them, so to speak.
And this is the second one, Drelsna.
Hmm. Yep.
In fact, in the Shokanth, the prize in Shokanth, it's one of the
Yep.
best art pieces of all time, too.
Yeah.
Just so,
Hmm.
I use his half sister.
Yep.
So, yeah, she's a vampire. She's got an holy reaver. There's all sorts of great items. There's David's Wondrous Lanthorn right there. That's an artifact. The Codex Infinite Planes is here too. Is that the one? Yeah, I get them all. So another great. this is one of my favorites of all time. I know a lot of people go, "Oh, it doesn't make sense why there's these monsters all. It seems like a mess." I'm like, "Well, they're all there static guards. They're guarding the entrance to this, and they probably only activate when there's living creatures around or something. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't worry about you know. I'm like Anna. I don't worry about how they all interact with each
that's
other.
the difference
Yeah,
between
yeah. I
I
love
worry
just the
about
adventure.
all that
Yeah.
stuff that you don't worry about. So
No.
yeah. But this comes with playstyle.
Yeah.
One extreme, you only run adventures as written, and you run a Greyhawk campaign where you just touch the
Oh, thanks.
classics
Stop.
and that's it. Meaning that's a
Yeah.
perfectly viable way of playing the game, of running a Greyhawk campaign. You just run the cool published adventures, and then you say, "I'm done with Greyhawk," and then you have no problem with why are the some dungeons like a fun house, because it's written that way. That was the initial experience.
Yes, it was. Absolutely.
And then it's people like me who do the opposite. Yeah.
You don't run adventures. You don't run published source adventures.
No,
Very
no,
rarely. Yeah.
I take it literally a part of Greyhawk, and then I run
Right.
stuff. I
Yeah,
just
within
let the
area,
players.
sandboxy area. It's
Yeah, exactly.
Great
Yeah.
play style.
I'm very super sandboxy. Yeah. And both of them comes with limitations and problems and as ways that are to their advantage, so to speak. So the meaning my sandbox style requires a heck of a lot of setup initially, but once you're up and running, you can run session after session after session, and you don't need to prep for the session, so to speak, much. You prep an area, and then you just run wild with it.
Okay. Whoops. Somehow that happened wrong here. Let me bring this up. So here's one though that I haven't killed, fortunately,
Yeah.
and she's been around a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Marquesa. So I
Yeah,
haven't
and
gone there. I haven't
yeah,
even run
because
any
she's
of.
like a
Yeah.
yeah, she's like a major villain. So
Mhm.
so she's the kind of villain you want to keep alive for a whole long campaign and then some.
Yeah. See, Dad, I don't know what the complaint is specifically, other than the monsters all don't make sense. And I'm like, well, they're guards. They're meant there to guard the place, each door. That's all. It's just tell you what it is. What it is. So well, PCs should not meet equal, but meeting drills might make equal a foe. BB, Eagle's not even in the adventure. Eagle's not mentioned any. She's mentioned, but she's not stats. Nothing. She's not in the adventure at all. And sure can't. So not a bit. You know. So yeah, man. Hey, have fun. Have fun, Curtis.
Yep.
3 hours different. So this is Marquesa. Marquesa is one of the most evil characters in all of Greyhawk. I mean, by far. Way worse than a lot of chaotic evil characters.
Yeah, she's like the Dr. Mengele of Greyhawk
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's her bodyguard, Devin. And see like these lines on his face. So the story is he's horribly scarred by a black dragon. That's not his real face. She rebuilt his face. His face was all scarred, and she rebuilt his face to look attractive.
And we have to
So
mention that Carlos Lysing did a bunch of adventures with her in it. That she's the major villain.
Yeah, I have
so.
them over there. Marquesa lives. All of them die.
Yeah,
Marquesa
I think it's like
die.
at least 3, maybe even 4.
And then there's a fourth one that involves Slippery Keta, which I haven't gotten to running yet either. Yeah, there's a lot of really great. He did a really fantastic work on those adventures. But this is a major slave lord. She's really not involved in my game with the slave lords anymore, but she's in the Pomars still doing experimentation. The rest of the slave lords leave her alone because they're like, I don't want to get on her bad side.
Yeah. And
yeah.
One way of introducing high level villains is when the characters are low level, really low level. That's when that gives you a window, because major villains can be in the area and can do things, and they don't even perceive the low level characters as a threat or worthy of a kill. They're just
absolutely.
like mosquitoes or flies on whatever, they just ignore them because they're not even worthy enough of attention, so to speak. And that is a window that, as a DM, you should use that from time, or not overuse it, but you should definitely use it
Yeah.
as a way of introducing major villains. And but then it comes to the players to make sure that they are the fly on the wall, that the villain don't even bother, because there's more important things to do than to go around killing insignificant villagers or whatever the hapless characters might be at the time, so to
Yep.
speak.
Very true. Now, there are, if you just wanted to see, I got these all clipped. That's a picture
Yeah.
of all the slave lords that are outside of, and this is from the Slavers book.
Hmm.
Except for Stallman Klim's not in that picture.
Yeah.
But
And this is Wayne Reynolds when he worked on
he's
Greyhawk
crying,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
all these originals were destroyed, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Thankfully, we have at least digital
Yes. Snipped
images
pictures.
and the printed images of them. So yeah.
See, that's a good idea, Sparky. You got away with the finger there. That works. That's good. That's really good. So, all right. Now, there's other NPCs that are used for interactivity that are on the good side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I use this picture even though it's not her. All right. This is for the Mountaineer Militia. Right. But I use it for like when you're flying into and this is from the Ashes. So here's some of the problems that arise when using a published source character. Be prepared to be sad at some point. I'm going to tell you a
Okay.
little story. We're going to bring up the Anna map here, and this is actually it's funny, this story, because this shows you the craziness of the era of Living Greyhawk. And I'm not bad mouthing Living Greyhawk if Jeremy's on. I'm just stating facts here about Living Greyhawk. So let me go to the order of you looking. I'll bring up and I'll tell you who this person is. A major player in my campaign for the area of Hardby and Greyhawk City. So when we come here, we're gonna here we go, map up. And this is an NPC I've used for a long time. First appears in From the Ashes. So here's Hardby. Okay. Here's Greyhawk City. Now you have the Mountaineer Militia all throughout these areas of the Cairn Hills. By the way, and we were talking about, remember Patrick? I don't have this discussion tonight, but we should have it at some point. How there's no way Durgar, these three are interacting with any Durgar whatsoever. Here's Graysmere, Caracast, and Dumadan, all three Dwarven realms, all different. With at most 800's the largest one, right? So they're all there. And then you got, here we go, and it's Karastein's castle. Now, why do I say this?
Mm-hmm.
So during my play, during second edition, I just love the backstory on Karestein, high level paladin. She's got all of this retinue of people. She's got some good stories. Anna would love this. One of her paramours is a young Greyhawk dragon, right? Who's
Cool.
there?
Yep.
Is it Greyhawk or
Mm-hmm.
Gold? Who's part of the retinue? And Barra. I think maybe she's Gold Dragon. And then she has these other people. And one guy's, part of the joust every year. I actually have the whole roster of all those characters. Let me see if I have it here. And you'll see where the joke is in a second. It's kind of funny. It's hysterical, actually. Let me see here. Members of Karastein's Castle. Here we go. I got it. All right, here they all are. All right. So I even have all of them noted, and these are all mentioned. These are all named in From the Ashes box set. I just gave them, if they didn't have levels, I gave them levels. There may be some different, these two. That's the Dragon and Barra. Gisherin's the one who's in the joust every year. And then Cheyenne Storm-Handed, it's basically, Gisherin is the paramour come loud of Cheyenne. And then you got Karestein and crew. So why don't, yes, very close to Harvey, but really is beholden to no one, but like is ally with Greyhawk City. Living Greyhawk didn't permanently kill her off once. They did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets She gets killed once, gets wiped out. They bring her back, and then on the second time, they say that they have a big fight with Rary, and he kills her off permanently a second time. So he just wiped her out 2 times. I'm thinking to myself, well, that ain't happening in my game. I've invested yeah. Hey, what's up, Bill? Good to see you. I invested way too much in this character to just say, oh yeah, okay, well that happened in my game. Because Living Greyhawk kills a lot of people off. So yeah, a double whammy kill on Karestein, on Karestein, which is, as you can see, it's wrapped around. That's the land she controls down in that area. And there, by the way, if anyone wants to know, that is a meteor strike, right, Anna? Right there.
Yeah, that was the hang on a second. One of the wizard had his lair, and that someone
Yeah.
put a big meteor and knocked it out. So I
Yeah.
added it. It's a little bit too big, but I need to fix that in the
It's
future
cool
editions.
though.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah.
So yeah, just know
This map is a bit symbolic and not that accurate. So yeah.
I have a mini for Karestein too. It's one of the it's a great mini, and so we've been there. So we've done these adventures that come out here, and Bill probably remembers them. There was one right here, Marstafel. There was a grouping of a lot of humanoids here. Yeah, and so they sent us out to take care of that. Lord Ellis's outpost. That's from a dungeon magazine. So there's a lot of adventures in this southern Ernst you can do, and northern part of the Bright Desert on the hills here without getting Rary or Rubbler involved. Uh, so I invested a lot in the Karestein, and I'm not just going to snap my fingers and go, oh, she's dead now, right? So this is going to happen when you're beholden to using somebody across the streams, Jeff. This is going to happen sometimes when you, and Jeff, like I said, you're welcome to call one anytime. I know you're interested in this discussion. This will happen when you're dealing with published source characters. All of a sudden you'll go, oh my God, they killed this character off lots of times. And it happened a lot during that third of between 2001 2008. All right. So just note, yeah, she's alive in mine. Lots of fun things there. Just as an example of what can happen to a beloved NPC of yours. And it happened a lot during From the Ashes. I mean, I lost multiple characters. And in fact, one of the biggest here, I got a picture here. Another one, which was a problem for me initially. Carlos tried to convince me it was a good thing because it opened it up for other characters. I'm like, I don't know. I just, and then we're talking on the good side now here. So I go here and I'm going to, yep. So you got Sir Arkur Jakartai and you got Lady Valdressa Sharn. Right. Now, this is from the Greyhawk box set. Great picture. She's a paladin. And he's like a fighter or a cavalier, depending on when you look. So, all right. So we got Grim Sparkle Jeff coming on, doing all sorts of great
awesome.
work with us. Yes. What's up, dude?
Hey.
How are you?
Hello.
Lots of excitement this week.
That's good, isn't it?
Some of it's good. So I'll make this very quick. I discovered my daughter has a food allergy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we were going out for a birthday party for my son, and she tries baklava for the first time, and it had pistachios in it.
Oh,
and
pistachios, really? Wow.
So free trip to the hospital, but she's fine. But it was like when you want some excitement and take it up a notch. But no, things are
but
good.
you don't want people to turn blue, literally, so to speak. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, man.
Didn't have a cure poison spell on me, so
yeah, not Alden's, not that. Pistachios. Wow, I love pistachios.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that can go under nuts. I guess. Yep.
Yeah, nut allergy.
Loving this conversation, and you're right, Jay. It's like sadness sometimes follows, depending on which character you pick.
Here's another one. Carl Sargent kills Valdressa Sharnoff during From the Ashes. Just like, oh, she's dead. And Arthur Jakarta goes crazy over it. And I'm like, no. So I have her still alive in my campaign. Yes. So yeah, that's another one. And this is where you got to really be careful. How did it affect my game? How did it affect the campaign? Not one iota of a change, minor. She's part of the triumvirate of leaders, her and The one who's a dragon in your game, Anna.
Yeah. The
Walworth.
leader of
Katarina Walworth.
Katarina Walworth.
Katarina
Yep.
Walworth, and Marco's
Amanda- yep.
character, David Gradamus III, are the
Oh,
three
cool.
triumvirate rulers currently of the Shieldlands. So, what's up, Dale?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's another one. They killed off. They also killed off the gnome from the Fellowship of the Torch, the one with the rubber chickens and stuff. That drove me nuts. Why would you kill him off? Yeah,
Rubber chicken?
Yeah, the rubber
It's
chicken.
a source
gnome.
of comic relief. Come on.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Yes, and we'll go to that in a second here. So note the following: do not, when you vest deep interest in some of these characters, be forewarned. You never know. Gimri, thank you, Bill. I'm getting old. I am getting old, man. That's the excuse I'm going to use. I could have sworn I put the Free City of Greyhawk box set here. 393. Well, give me 1 second here. We'll go 380. I think it's there. Nope. Now I got to remember what Gabbin it was under. 390. Here? Yep. Here it is. If I'm babbling, I apologize. Remember, I came right from Steve's house. What Bill, wasn't that a great Flyers game? That's wrong. That's wrong. Where is it? I know it's here. It is. Okay. Buy Greyhawk timeshare. Buy something. So this is just me. I'm all over the place tonight. You can tell, right? I was prepared, but just characters are. And I'll give you another example, and I'm never going to mention this again. What they did to Bigby in 5th edition. They turned him into a gnome. Why?
I think they have to reconsider that one. Yeah.
Well, why a 19th level? Why when Mordenkainen finds him, he doesn't have a wish spell on him just to wish him back, and he has to have him reincarnated.
I think that's. Yeah, but that's what happens when you fire half your staff every 6 months, and you need to you go over things, and you need products fast, and
right.
Yeah, that's what happens when. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, Anna, that is so true. And Wizards of the Coast isn't the only industry I've seen that.
Yeah,
I won't mention another. I won't mention another corporate IP that's a winter event, but I've seen the story just completely derail, and it's like somebody got fired, didn't they?
Oh yeah, it's corporate designed by committee. Then stuff like that happens. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I read that and I went, what?
Well, someone simply listed and see we don't have enough gnomes mentioned, so they need to be more represented or something. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would be a hypocrite if I disagreed
politically,
with you.
I'm very much for a lot of representation by everybody, but in my fantasy games, yeah, maybe, especially in my Greyhawk games, I'm much less liberal than I am in my politics, so to speak. So yeah.
So
yeah.
We're not going
to. And I have a gnome. No, but it's like gnomes. I have not a problem with them, but I haven't found the really yeah. I like gnomes, but I haven't found a home for them in my game. But just because someone like me hasn't found it, Wizards of the Coast need to think through more than I need to for my games, so to speak. That's the. Yeah.
They do feel a little bit like an add-on. Maybe there'll be a dungeon with a very dangerous garden in it or something like that.
But on the other hand, early D&D, a lot of things were add-ons. And gnomes were one of these things that someone probably thought it was a cool idea to have gnomes in there. And gnomes got in there. And nothing much happened afterwards.
You know?
Right.
No,
I remember the Ever Mysterious Tim was so pissed back in the day.
Yeah. Angry?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you know how Tim gets. And Jeff.
No.
Jeff, you and I are...
Not at all. Walt couldn't take us on a 10-minute ride without. In fact, Tim and I got in his car, and he was silently counting how long it was going to take before Tim and I got into an argument. And I think it went 5 seconds, and Tim started on that. No, just no. And Walt just busted out laughing, going, "Not even 2 minutes, you guys."
Exactly. But I'm still
Yeah.
laughing about the climbing up the wall backwards up the wall.
That's going to be a new spell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But on the other hand, it's kind of funny. We can laugh at them doing
Yes.
it because it's
Of course we
so
can.
obvious. And also, just because the publisher does something doesn't mean that you need to change it in your
Exactly.
games. That's the other thing. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But it can throw a wrench. You got to watch out. So we're going
Oh
to
yeah.
book. We're going to book 2, and I wanted to rehash this. Book 1 was written by Doug Niles, even though he claimed he never wrote it. Okay, so I think he was on the show
That's
last
another
year. He goes, I didn't
interesting.
write
Yep.
that book. Yeah, so we think Sargent wrote both. That's the guess. But we're gonna go. We're gonna go down to the beautiful people section here. This book is the first time I think that, and this is the Folk Feuds and Factions book, that you really get a ton of NPCs out there in the game. And this is 1989. It's taken this long after Rogues Gallery to,
Yeah.
there's some in Greyhawk Adventures, but that had just come out. But look, you got a ton of characters just named it throughout this thing.
And what I
the whole
love that
circle.
they are really placed in the city. They have a function, a history, a home,
absolutely.
a context within the city, which I think is really, really important.
Yeah, Samwise would say, do not vest deep interest in NPCs, especially do not vest any with plot armor. I agree. So there's a way of doing it. Like, there's a great way of doing it, Sam. I think you've got it down to a science a little bit, and that there's always the proxy character you can create, or I'll give you an example here. Here's Bubka's superior identifier. This is Condratus Bubka, the Mage of Exchange, right? Kind of a dick. Yeah, and Greyhawk. He charges a lot of money. He really hates low-level mages, and he has this thing where he's identifying everything. Well, instead of using him directly in the game, what do? I create his daughter, who is actually in one of the Earth journals. She's a quasi-elementalist. She gets kidnapped, and they rescue her. And now she adventures with a kids group in the Gnarlymen. So there you go, and that's it. So I have a Bubka in my game, but it's just the daughter of Condratus Bubka. So therefore, I'm not really touching him.
Right.
Sometimes we'll have an interaction with him. Let's make it down to here. Where we're going. The great thing about this book, the guilds are fantastic. Everything about this book is top notch. Top notch. Low Life Assassins Guild, and they claim to have done it in an entire weekend, which I find crazy, absolutely crazy. And if they wrote both books, Anna, which we led to believe a lot of bad
I think
organizations,
they put together stuff they already have written, must have been,
that's very
and
possible
not
too.
edited or whatever. So yeah.
Here's entertainment. Oh my God, I apologize here. I should have been ready. Once again, I was coming right from being very happy on a Flyers game. All right, here we go. All right. First time I saw an adventuring group detailed, right? This group is detailed, very, very detailed. And I don't think this group. I think this was right out of thin air. I don't think that this was Carl Sargent's campaign. I think he just created these characters. That's how much of a genius he was. And these characters have depth, and I'm like, I can't wait to utilize them. They're interacting with all our adventure groups, with the Iron Brigade and Greyhawk, and even the Grey Company, and all those characters we have that are like now running 12th level, 13th level. They were interacting with them right from the beginning. So they were actually doing joint adventures. They were doing missions in Greyhawk City. They were hiring out the Iron Brigade, all sorts of things. Here's Grimmy. So Grimmy is simply known as Fisher, 3'10". Fisher is practical joker in his first order. Inside his bag of holding, the gnome hides articulated snakes made of wire and pliable wax, horribly hairy spiders, variety. Where's the chicken? Oh, here it is. He has gleefully fashioned the models, including the notorious luminous rubber chicken, which he has flourished at night and frightened the living daylights out of Kiri with it. There you go. He's got a rubber chicken that glows.
Ah.
Yeah. So thanks, Zump. So, and then this guy, boom, they literally say he was ripped apart in Shendel by a demon. Yeah. Just, yeah, pretty gross. But the rest of the group goes on. Well, I was like, Grimmy's too cool to have killed off. But this was great because this started my thought process on we could detail up adventuring groups, other adventuring groups. And then From the Ashes, they detail a whole bunch of adventuring groups. And that was where the idea came for me, was kind of from BattleTech, Jeff. We should have mercenary guild halls in all these. They should have rankings on who's the best, who, to hire out. And that's where the whole thing came from, was from this. So that's why I have mercenary guild halls in Altamira and Greyhawk City and Harvey. They're the three that I have for my game. And it's just, of all those details of all those adventure groups, a ton of NPCs. Most of them are created by me. So, for example, I should go to the Earth Journal Adventure article, but I don't remember what number it is. So we're just going to go here. Greyhawk Merc. If I type Greyhawk Merc, it should come up. If it doesn't, it's my fault. Greyhawk Merc. Go to AD&D. Type in Greyhawk Merc, and we should find it. Greyhawk. And this may not be up to date. Greyhawk Merc. Here we go. Here we are. Greyhawk City mercenary groups rated in order from fame, notoriety. And there you go. There's the Iron Brigade, PC group, NPC group, Fellowship of the Torch, Corellan's Arrows, NPC group. Levels kind of given, but names aren't. I named them all. Fighters of the Light named here. One person's named, as Greyhawk Mike put. I named all those guys in the 90s all hockey goons, all the fighters. It's because in that group, yeah. The Legion and PC group, NPC group, PC. Gnarlyman, it's the kids group now because the NPC group folded. NPC group. So there, most of these are noted. What's up there, Rachel? You guys on tonight? I rated into you last week. I'll probably rate into Mandy if she's on this week, and then ask her to rate into you, if that's cool. So, yep. But just note, look at all the NPCs here. And guess what? If a couple people from the Gnarlyman die, it's not a big deal, right? And that's the kind of the thing I'd say. I also know for NPC, here's Valdressa and the Gnome. Look at the effects their deaths had on other NPCs. You really like an NPC. Make the players feel it too and react in similar ways. Sam, yes, but there's nothing worse than a forced death on you. Really. As a DM, you know that. It's terrible to have a forced death on you. For no reason, other than storyline got advanced. Now I know how Ed feels about the 100-year advancement in Forgotten Realms. I know he probably drove him crazy, So, yeah. Aren't the Broad Street bullies? That's funny. Guess what there, Mike? The Broad Street Bullies are a mercenary group in BattleTech in MechWarrior. There's actually
Isn't Great Company as well?
Yeah, there's a Great Company as well too. So that Great Company was from the books, right?
Okay.
All right. So that's why. So Bill has Krazana, Galena in there, and I think Galena's the named character in the Great Company. He's got a dual class illusionist thief. In that
yes,
group. Yes. So that's why, yeah, human. Yeah, looks like Shannon Doherty because he has those fixations built in. So I wonder if he's still on. Yeah. So that's why the name's. Yeah. But my group, yeah, but. Oh yeah, absolutely a forced PC death. And so Sam, just different styles. Forced NPCs on ones that I interact with or piss me off because I got a campaign running for 46 years now. Someone comes in and changes up a whole. Oh yeah, those wars and stuff, but she died. Come on, that sucks. Yeah. So Jeff,
yeah.
How many? Let's ask how many NPCs have you developed in the 10 area that you're run with? 100?
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 2 provinces almost completely done, and each almost all of the cities in them have the framework is basically people to see, things to do, places to go. And things to do are side quests, and there are NPCs who are locals, blacksmiths, tavern owners, captain of the guard, and they have varying levels of depth. Some of them are just a simple quest giver, but some of them are more integral, and some of them are very recurring. Like I have probably about 3 or 4 that are very deep because they basically are NPCs that are taking you through the campaign. And they have their own reasons, and there's hooks and branches in, okay, well, what if the player pisses off the NPC? Well, they're not just going to sit there and go, okay, well, anyway, there'll be consequences. But throughout the 10, I've got a fair number of them, both good and bad.
And underhanded neutrals and all sorts of stuff, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah,
A mix.
yeah. There's a whole so like there's about 2 thieves guilds that I've fairly spelled out. The one's called the Rustjaw Circle, which is basically a bear trap, and they run contraband throughout the north of the 10 because it's more frontier based, and there's opportunities for rogues that you'll get approached like you want to prove yourself. You can do a couple jobs for us. One of them involves taking out a renegade rogue who's basically starting to break away from the guild and try and carve out his own path. You take him out and you've proven yourself. You get some side bonuses and perks. You basically have a place to stay, and it opens up a lot of RP possibilities. But there's also another NPC in this intercepted delivery. She's a halfling herbalist who's a retired rogue who basically sells concentrated herbals that give you a slight buff to your dexterity, but there's a cost. So there's a little touch on contraband and getting into illicit goods without going full bore. But yeah, definitely some guilds. There's the Ranger and Druid orders that I've written called the Cernhratha and the Cernhrad and the Cernvatha, and they're basically like druids and rangers who are really focused on balance and the land, and there's a couple of NPCs that the players run into that focus on that. So yeah, quite a few.
But all right, so
in my Shieldlands campaign, I have 293 named
Oh
ones.
my gosh.
That I've put in, but then probably about 40 of or so. So there's about 200 that I've named and invented. The other ones are from various published
Marklands
sources
and Iced
that
Evil
I've
mostly,
put in
yeah.
there as well.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Marklands and Iced Evil and a few from some Living Greyhawk stuff too. I'm sure there's like 10 of them or something that was invented there, but not that many. But and also they are invented in stages. It's not like I'm sitting and prepping an area and then it's like, okay, now I need to, there are few key things that I want to have. Like if there's like Glushnag the Mighty, I needed a major enemy slash someone on the opposing side. So I invented him and 3 or 4 of his henchmen and partners. I invented them with names and stat blocks and stuff. Others, they come as a consequence. I created a village, so to speak, and then I come up with a concept. I write like 2 paragraphs and say this village is blah 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 so and so, and there's a few fishermen, there's an inn, and I name a few places, and there you have the first meaning. These places are run by someone or something.
Right.
And so on. So then you have, that's the first one, and then the players start getting closer, and that's when I'm like, okay, I need to have a few of these, like in case they get into trouble with them, I need the few of the city guards or whatever, or they have like a ranger or someone tracker or someone who can be the antagonist against the party. So I put a stat block in there. I might name that person, so to speak, and then they become, and then the other ones are just stat blocks on the side. I just use a generic bandit or whatever. I don't even bother doing a proper stat block. I just run them, and then in the encounter that they interact with, they capture one of them, and then all of a sudden that one needs a name and a backstory that I have to invent during the session. Just so I have like a list of names for that village that I can just introduce, and then they interact with him and they interrogate him and whatever, and that has he has a backstory, and then they might kill him, but he might then have named some other ones in there, and all of a sudden they get a life of their own, so to speak. So NPCs kind of gets created and they evolve gradually from I need someone there to the players have interacted, and now I have a major or like a major villain or someone, so to speak. So they get invented. Yeah.
I was going to ask if you found in your campaigns an NPC that becomes a recurring villain or becomes an unintentional favorite character, villain or force that the players have to deal with from time to time.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have one in the when I started my Shieldlands campaign, there was like 3 Iusian priests in that village, a cleric that ran. They were the major villains when the characters were 0 level and 1st level and 2nd level kind of thing. Then and the top one was like 6th level. He was the major villain and he could kill the players outright. And then he had 2 henchmen, one a 3rd level, 2nd level, I think, and one 1st level. And they killed off the 1st level guy quickly, so to speak. They got him and they just killed off. And then Vakunis came and came into the village, and that was
Public
like
source.
a big event. Yeah, exactly, a big event, whatever. But then that coincided due to a kind of a happy coincidence with the dice, or from the player's perspective, a Shieldlands patrol came, and they had a bunch of characters in there who were 7th and 8th level, and they took on with the player. The players just decided to go on a rampage against Vakunis, and Vakunis thought he was perfectly safe. So he was like, "Oh, there's some villagers that are doing some stupid, nasty stuff to the other clerics here." And Vakunis just laughed at them. And that's when the Shieldland patrol realized we have a chance. So they jumped in the action, and that was me making a die roll. And so they just, like I say, it's 20% chance. They see the chance and will go for it. And they rolled like a double 20 or something and critted off the bat. And there were like 3 of them. There were 2 characters who jumped on Vakunis, and then now we see the chance. So there were 2 8th level Shieldland patrol guys, so to speak, that jumped on it. Both of them critted, and Vakunis didn't survive it. He was out, so he was done with. So it was it was like 6 rolls that went against what I thought would happen, so to speak. But then I just have to live with the rolls, and the players were like, "Whoa, this is so cool! We've done it! We're 1st level, and we killed him."
Do you find those moments, those unexpected moments, challenging as a DM, because now you're almost a player in the game, because now it's like, okay, you got to go back and write how's this going to affect things.
Yeah, but I've learned in the beginning, I was like devastated because I fell in love with the villains, NPCs, or whatever. Meaning, I've invested 3 hours in this guy, and you killed him without even asking the name. I'm offended, so to speak. But now I realize that even dead villains have a purpose, because whatever. In some ways it's almost good, because now that you have the whole character arc from invention to history, meaning now you can safely invent a backstory, knowing that whatever. So always note down what you had the intention of it, and because you can use it to fill out stuff, so to speak, and that way when they interrogate the next one, that one can then have interacted with that one. So the players will discover the importance of who they killed later on in the adventure, and that might be both beneficial or whatever. So don't throw it out, and don't forget about stuff even just because the players and the characters kill whatever the villain or whatever it is.
Right.
That means that also makes it an important thing, because afterwards they realize that, that was so and so they killed or chased off or whatever. So that the game can get deeper over time as well, so to speak, which I think it's another important aspect to consider in this.
Yeah.
I've also found working not so much forwards, but even backwards, like what you're saying, Anna, where, okay, well, this NPC has a backstory. and it's may or may not be well fashioned up, but they interacted with other people, and you can bring other NPCs who were relating to that, and thereby touch those characters.
That's true.
Yep.
I wrote one with Lareth, the Beautiful, having a backstory of, well, somebody mentored him, somebody
Yep.
got him involved,
Mhm.
and
So true.
and the
Yep.
dynamic between him being a follower of Lolth to being a follower of the elemental god, and it's like, well, what pulled him away? What was the dynamics behind it? And I worked backwards instead of forwards. It keeps me safe from the lore side because we know, progressing forward, but we don't have a lot on the backstory. And so sometimes I'll work from the backstory and then branch out that way.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even undead can come with backstories, which is cool because then they are insignificant. As meaning you have the local skeletons or zombies or whatever it
Or
was.
somebody once.
Yeah, exactly. But their backstories might be the big thing. So killing them is just a way to be able to loot their stuff and find whatever they had in their pockets and find the story. It was someone's loved one, or it was some horrible person in life too, and whatever. So you can invent things that can lead to. So the monster might be insignificant, like a zombie or a skeleton, but the backstory might be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, I had the Harby Wars between the group, the adventurers led by. I don't know if you ever met this guy, but his name's Mike. It was especially priest of Jilchis, one of Mark's characters, named Michael Baton, based on a real person, fighting this person, another evil person in the campaign, and that's Alita Norbalos, right? And we had everything's on fire, and she had the entire church of Zilchers burned to the ground with all the priests inside. Yeah, it got really ugly. Well, eventually at the end, she kind of won. Michael was assassinated. Assassins came down from divers, killed him. They put his head on a pike up there. Well, it turns out now Michael Baton his appearances as a revenant on a ghost ship out in the Woolly Bay.
Oh.
Yes,
Yep.
going to seek revenge. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yep.
And even things can have
Yeah.
backstories and stuff that are important. It could be like, yeah, they don't need.
Yeah.
Meaning there's the mechanical side to things, and then there's the thematic story side to it. And both villains, some of them are very important story wise, but insignificant or not interesting mechanically, and others are the opposite. Meaning you can have a ruler that is corrupt or whatever, but mechanically insignificant. If you can get to it, you can kill them because that corrupt mayor, or the evil high priest that runs the cult might simply have the role because relations, and he's part of the family, but it's the anti-paladins or the helpers around that are mechanically the tough ones, but they are thematically not interesting. They are just undead whatever guardians
just cogs
or something.
in the machine.
Yeah. So you can so play with those sides and not necessarily make every mechanically interesting creature villain thematically interesting, and vice versa. They should be both, so to speak. Sometimes, of course, mechanics should tie in with history and story, but not necessarily. Meaning, look in the real world, it's often not the most able-bodied and smartest people in the world who runs whatever company, country, or whatever. It's someone with connections and all of that, so to speak. And that might be very true in a fantasy world too, even if we are used to the top villain always having the biggest stats. But that might not be true, so to speak.
Political intrigue in Greyhawk could be interesting, especially if the players get wrapped up in court politics or somebody trying to get somebody.
So
that can get very interesting.
That happened in another adventure. There's an adventure card. It's either a card or it's a dungeon. I don't remember which, where there's a corrupt judge, and these people are coming after him because he's sentenced someone to death who didn't deserve it. Coming after him, you get hired to protect him. And that was and Walt's character just played into that, and like basically now became buddies with this corrupt judge after they were successful, because they didn't know the backstory. They just got hired, right? find out that this
Yep,
guy's really
yep.
underhanded, but he played it up so that his character, she's like, basically screwing around with him now, because it's Walt,
Yeah.
because he's got no
Yeah, and
boundaries.
there you have it. Yeah, there you have a
So,
category of
yeah,
villains or
yeah,
NPCs that could be seen more as part of the landscape or more
yeah,
like a trap or a hindrance because they're not interested in the characters. Meaning, you might have a
they're
corrupt
tools.
merchant in
Hmm.
a city, or you have
Yep,
a mayor or someone or a baron or someone. They might be villainous, but they're just there to collect taxes and make life miserable for whatever citizens, hapless creatures that have to live under them and suffer them. But the characters, they're just transiting through. It's not if they want to take on and start a rebellion against said Baron, then it becomes a major side quest. But that's not the point. He's just there to create friction and make it a little bit difficult, like difficult terrain or something in that sense. You can there is a class of villains that aren't villainous, they're just obstacles to overcome, to create some frictions, relieve the characters some money, delay them a little bit, confuse them, and stuff like that. So there you have another set of that can turn into villains if the players fall for these hooks, so to speak. And they, okay, we're going to start a rebellion against said Baron and stuff. And it, there you have it interesting because if the characters are low level, then it becomes like a suicide mission. But let's say the characters are high level, they're like 13th, 14th level, and they're just on their way to the big mission. And the Baron, meaning his top lieutenants might be 6th level or 7th level. So if they start a rebellion, they might get it over within 24 or 48 hours. But on the other hand, then they have deposed the Baron, who's probably some vassal of a king or a prince or something. So then they have started a whole chain of events that will take on later on. So you can play with stuff like that. You can tease the players with side quests like that kind of, oh, this guy, he's horribly corrupt, the prices are up the roof, people are angry, whatever, and see if they take the bait. Yeah.
So Jeff, wait to hear this
Yep.
one. Here's a long story. So my first 2 live streams ever, number 8, it was Adventure 820, almost 9 years ago. It
Jeez.
was about a character named Shannon Maynham. Now the Maynhams was one of the 5 houses of Hardby. So she was born into privilege, but bored out of her mind, took to a life of piracy. Right. So they had to first recover her, and then they found out she was the bad guy in the second adventure. They had to go capture her. Brought her back. Her mother felt bad for her, bailed her out, and she disappeared. Well, the last adventure, and by the way, I don't own the rights to this artwork, but this is what I used for her 8 years ago. Okay, it's Shannon Maynham. Her nickname is the Knuckle Paler. Okay, so in the adventure where we went out into the sea a couple Saturdays ago, Smee says to the group, by the way, she's no longer in the Woolly Bay. The rumor is she's out here in the Asia Sea somewhere. We need to be aware of the Knuckle Paler and her pirate ship. And that is 8 years later, right? Because that's where she fled to, and she's pirating out here. So this is an NPC of mine that I used as the very first stream I did, who hasn't got a lot of mention, that I started filtering her back into these stories again, because now I may, down the road, I got some ideas for her. So yeah, all set it out.
Yeah, speaking of that, Jay, now we need to have another Gabbin where we talk about how the heck do you keep track of stuff like that?
Well, it's tough.
What system do you use? What tools? What notes do you take and stuff?
People are
Yeah,
gonna be very disappointed. It's called
Oh,
Falling Apart Notebooks.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying that we all have systems and ideas for that, because I think just what notes should you take? How do you keep track of this and so on? Yeah.
I am lucky now. I actually go back to some of my old vids and watch them now on YouTube.
That's another good reason for streaming. You get like an archive of stuff. Yep.
Yeah, and all the talk shows are on there too. So if we ever go over some, but that is one that, like, I love the story. I have I have like 5 people watching then, and the Naz is one of them, right? That's it. And Duty Booty, there's like 5 people watching.
Wow.
So yeah, back in the day, and we ran those 2. They're our first 2 adventures we ever did live, and it's just like, and then I have not had her interact since then. So,
Okay.
but I've mentioned her in sidebars. keeping that alive. And she hates the slavers and stuff. She's like an independent pirate. So there you go. So that, down the road, you may see her come back in. But there you go. That was a big piece of mine. I have a question for Jeff. 10 is very open early on. Are there any NPCs that you have that are published source in all those that you made?
No, the only one is obliquely referred to because of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be careful from a couple of standpoints. If I put anything on DM's Guild, I want to make sure that everything's button tight with licensing and stuff.
Yeah.
I also, when I was first writing, I wanted to be very careful and did a fair amount of research into, well, what's the canon? What is the established story so that what I'm writing
smart
marries to it and isn't like, well, hey, you can't do that. I think the only one is Aya the Third. But I modified him. He's the Duke, and but really no. I'm just trying to think real quick. I don't think I've used any official 10, mainly because pretty much the 10 gets wiped out. So it's like, how much do you really want to get into that if he's just going to basically eat it in the end?
Well, we might start. They might start a renewed start again, so you never know. Yeah, meaning the 5.5 DMG is set back in 576, so you never know.
I'm very hopeful. Jay, don't
you got
forget
a second lease on 10 life here. So
yes. Well, I started writing stuff called Tales for the 10, but somebody called me out on the map that I did where they said, "Oh, it's 10 miles per hex." I get it, ha 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 ha, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think of that." But
that's awesome. Yep.
I don't know how much real detail there was on the 10.
No, 10 is like Shieldlands. It's one of these places that have like 2 pages of content.
I scoured and I was trying to look carefully at stuff like World Anvil has stuff, but some of that's fan fiction. It's somebody who's coming up. Yeah. But the actual Greyhawk stuff, it's just Aya.
Yeah, I think it's like Shieldlands. Everything before Living Greyhawk was 2 pages. That was all that was about 10.
And everything after 580s were Ashes of Greyhawk, everybody's in ruin and in exile, so it's kind of like
but and most of that was written in from the Ashes stuff is just a rehash of was already written. So
just wait till Living Greyhawk when they're drunk at Gen Con and they go, we're gonna have this ethereal invasion. Where are we gonna do it? Well, 10's already destroyed. We'll just do it there. So I mean that's down the road. You got some time on that.
But it also I mean, in fandom, you can make your alternate history of 10 and make it good, and people will love it. So
that's the approach I took, because when I first started talking about the 10, I got dogpiled about 10's destroyed. And it's like, okay, this is a Magic campaign. You can kind of write your own. So I basically put a branch in the timeline.
Yep.
And in that particular case, it still does get wrecked, but not totally like it does in Ashes of Greyhawk. So it's parallel, and it honors some of the existing timeline. But I guess I kind of feel, at the risk of sounding critical, I think it could have been better written to make it a little less one-sided. I get that they wanted to make Ayu's the big bad guy. I want to make it grimdark. But I was trying to look at it more from a realistic standpoint, which is dangerous. And like breaking it into the baronies and such. But no, there really wasn't a lot of source material. So I basically tried to go back to, okay, who are they as a people, Flan?
Yep.
What's the Flan ethnology, and then work from there. So
that's awesome. And meaning, and we basically, when you start your own Greyhawk campaign as a DM, you create a fork from there on, so to speak, because things happen there that doesn't happen anywhere else, and you just have to accept that. That's part of running the game, is that you create your own fork.
About 5 years ago, I actually, the first time I kind of bumped into Jay, I started writing some stuff in the Southeast Ulick, but not in anything that he's controlled. But there's one guy, and I can't remember where. It's he's a ruler that's really obsessed with coin collecting, and if you start talking to him, he won't stop talking about it. And there's a quest that I wrote.
Ruler. Yeah.
I wrote a quest where the players are basically hired by a noble to investigate because one of the coins that's in his collection is a fake.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
That's a great story for a game because I could definitely see a Greyhawk ruler being so nerdy about something like coins.
Like
Yeah.
it even the Greyhawk source even got to the point like the guy gets red in the face, like he becomes obsessive, and it's like, okay, so there's some good material out there, but
Yeah.
as far as the 10, it was pretty much a blank slate, and I think that's honestly why I chose it.
Yeah, just
Like if I go to
exactly.
if I go to Ferriondi, if I go to Celine, if I go to Ulick, that is very well detailed. T series, all that. Jay with his campaigns, which I'll ask the disruptive question, Jay. So forgive me.
No, that's
But when are you writing modules as far as your background of Ulick? Like when are we going to see the Jay Scott official
Yeah.
World of Greyhawk stuff getting
okay,
integrated in?
So by the
When
way,
do you say that?
by the way, everyone, I am actually responding to Morris himself right now in the EN world.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
'Cause
That's
he just
cool.
said, because
Now I need to look at this comment. This is cool. It's live. Yeah.
Well, he said, we'll talk about that at the end. So here's what's going to happen. Here's hopefully what's going to happen. Real quick here. Two things. Number one, soon, very shortly, we're going to re-announce Altamira is going to be re-kickstarted. That's the wrong word. Rebooted for Troller Games, and how that's going to happen. Two, that kind of stuff. What we're hoping is the following. This first book is hugely successful, Mel's Guide to Greyhawk. The actual title is The Borderlands of Ayus, not the Shieldlands. That's incorrect, which is out there. It's The Borderlands of Ayus. Okay, it takes place in the Shieldlands to start, but that's not the name of the book. From this, that's a 3-book set. We're very hopeful that all those books get more and more popular, and who knows what it'll lead to down the road as far as editions it's in. Right now it's in 5.5, 2024. From there, that may expand into other projects, and that's what then we'll see. Make sense?
Yeah.
I will be retired hopefully by then from my real job, and I'll have a lot of time on my hands if all goes well. That's the idea.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes. Yeah.
I understood.
Yeah. Now, the good thing about Troller Games is any content I give to them, I own, continue to own and retain all the rights to it.
Right.
Altamira, the Winchesters, everything. So, in this. So, thank you. But let's just wait and see what happens. That's it. And that's why this is so vital, this first book.
And I'm kind of hitting that wall too with the dance with what you can what you can publish, what you can't publish, how much latitude you have, and it's like it's pushing me towards OSR, big time.
Well, Jeff, I haven't left 1E2E ever, and I'm not going to.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
and give me worth mentioning here that you have basically 2 roads you can go. You can either go the fan creation policy route where you give it away for free and then ask for donations. That's the route I've taken with my stuff. Or you can, now there's 3 ways. Before it was the way that Carlos Lysing did. You file off the serial numbers and then you can sell it.
Which is smart.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other perfectly viable way of doing it. And now there's the 3rd way, DM's Guild. You can still use Greyhawk lore, but you have to give you basically give Wizards and anybody else on DM's Guild the right to use your stuff, and you give up 50% of your revenue. But it's definitely a way to go. So there's now 3 ways you can legally work with Greyhawk stuff, so to speak.
Thank you, Patrick. Very kind. Yeah. So that's the long-term goal. Let's hope.
Yep.
Let's hope that happens. But
and in the future, that might be a 4th way. You can do it officially for Wizards.
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, meaning that's the 4th way of doing it. Yeah.
And that so I there's stories I haven't even told it from Gary Kahn.
Yeah.
I haven't told I haven't told the Chris Cox story, the guy, the president of Hasbro. I haven't even told that story yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then there's the 5th way, because there's also a Adventures League, Greyhawk League, that some right stuff for there too. So
absolutely. And so
I can't. My lips are sealed.
Lots of fun stuff going on.
I'm just. I've turned stuff. I've just turned down an opportunity, and I might regret it. Yeah. We'll see. Yep. Or pushed it for the future. We'll see.
Pushing it for the future would be the way to go.
Yeah.
We got to get this project's got to be a home run. So
Yep.
With what I have learned over time is I'm really hesitant to kill off published source characters, and I try not to. Now, some of them
Yeah.
deserve to die. I'm going to show you one.
Well, it's
who-
the hard fork. Once you kill off major NPCs, your campaign is a hard fork from
It is.
published
It
lore.
is.
So
This one, this
it's yeah.
guy dies more times than anyone, and I even bring him back afterwards as undead. Yeah, and that is Vane.
I
Right?
thought we were talking vampires here, but
No, no, no.
I'm
No,
teasing you.
I know, I know. Everyone busts my balls about vampire Thrall.
Yes.
You're all going to be thankful that this publication is before.
Yeah.
Book 2 will be before.
Eventually,
someone will have
if there will be
rescued
many books, you will
Thrall.
reach that point
I
where we
will,
have to. Yeah.
Tensor
But
dies
then
more than anyone. No, Vane does. Vane does. Vane dies.
Oh yeah,
twice.
Paul Wayne. He dies. Yeah, he dies a lot. Yeah.
Twice in Expedition of Ruins of Greyhawk, along with all the other times. So
is it poor Null that gets thrown into pieces too?
What's
that was
that?
one of the wizards in serve wizards or arcane casters that serve I use. They have a horrible fate tendency of dying horrible deaths.
And Jumper and all those. Not that I'm aware of. They ever die.
There's a couple of them that seems to be very unlucky. Yeah.
Well, Vane is an asshole, right? Vane is incompetent or whatever. But Vane's running through Expeditions to Ruins of Greyhawk.
Yeah, it's almost like they're brought back again so they could be killed again.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Ramona did in there. They kind of use him as the main antithesis because no one's going to care. So what happens is at the very end of the fight, you take out Vane, and that frees. Iris gets god trapped, but then he gets re-freed again during expeditions if you ever run it. It's a great adventure. Last one ever, 2008 ever published until coming up, right? And Iris comes out, and Iris resurrects him just to kill him right on the spot again, and it's written right in the book. So he dies twice within like 5 rounds of each other. It's hysterical. He dies twice there. Dies multiple times before, then he gets. Ice basically curses him. He becomes that grave master out in the Shieldlands as the final time. So I don't mind killing Vane off. Vane was a high level mage under Ius, but he right in front of the ashes he screwed up. He was incompetent right in front of the ashes. He gets demoted.
He's Vakuni's boss in my campaign. So the characters haven't gotten to him, but and Ius put him there because he wanted him basically cannon fodder at the front, so to speak.
He gets demoted from the greater to lesser bone.
Yeah, and Wayne is just hiding from everybody right now to just keep his job because Vakunis was his hireling that kind of went around did things. He got killed, and Glushnag the Mighty. He kills everybody Wayne sends because he's testing Wayne and he wants Wayne to come in person so he can kill him too. And so poor Wayne, he gets the people under him can't perform well or they threaten him and from above, so he's hiding from everybody. So it's kind of fun. He's powerful but hapless.
Hapless is the right word. So other than that, I don't think there's many. I like creating my own antitheses. So you said about recurring. So that the other one, the members of the Dark Brotherhood going back, Jeff, going back to the days you probably remember. You remember Pookhead, my illusionist assassin gnome. Everyone was scared to death of him. But there was been 4 major leaders of the Dark Brotherhood: the Claw, Makrash the Elf Mauler, Pookhead, and Holly. Yeah,
right.
So
I remember Marrakesh.
Yeah, Makrash, number 2.
Or Makrash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that cool when you after 30 years or something you remember names?
Yeah, he remembers going back 40 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Makrash.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Makrash was, it was a sad story. He was corrupted by a weapon, but it's still was evil.
It's a cool name too.
Yeah. And so that, and I've had Holly around for like now 20 some years. It's just she's a high level priestess of Leviator, which I love. I love Leviator, the Maiden of Pain. But with that, it's easy to create your own antitheses, and you just got to know when to let go. So let me show you these. If anyone watched Thursday night with And yes, I know it's cheesy. I named this guy after a Rocky movie, right? But I think
Mhm.
that makes it funny. So here is the setup, and here and let me bring this over. And here's the fight going on. So the main antithesis they're fighting now calls himself Thunderlips, the ultimate male, right? And here he is on the stairs to nowhere. The fight is going badly. I killed off a PC here. They burned her. They burned her dead body. There's Rob's character there. Rob's character is going berserk right now. This is Gom, Phantom NJ's character, Gom the Confident. They resummoned this as a frost woman, like a frost man with the beam coming out of your eyes, frozen. But they resummoned her with the death of Narina, and he cut her when he killed her. They killed her. He cut her head off and threw it into the fire. He's like, I've had enough. He's going crazy. So actually, there's only this guy here, which is a high level, a powerful Verbeeg, and all three of them. And normally this would be glowing, but I'm taking it on my phone, so I can't have the phone in there. But yeah, so so that's one of the antithesis going on now in the Lort Mills and Altamira is this snow barbarian. So yeah, doesn't Vecna kill Ayus, or was that an alternate storyline? That is not a storyline that happens anywhere. Vecna does not kill Ayus anywhere, McLeod. Nope. That's got to be an alternate storyline from someone else. Never happens. Never happens. Unless Vecna, in fact, one of the Vecnas, he kills everyone. And that Ravenloft Vecna one, maybe he kills everyone that you can think of in that third Vecna adventure that's published that actually appears in Ravenloft. So there you go. So that's a recurring NPC I have in my game right now, and it's fun. We're having fun with it. Yeah, there's a fight from another angle. So lots of dead creatures all over the place, and Bill's fire's awesome looking. So
Oh yeah,
it just
that's spectacular.
yeah, and it's a tea light inside of
Yeah.
inside there with spray painted black onto
Cotton.
cotton, yeah, stuffing for
A polyester fill. Yeah.
Vecna quasi possesses Ayus in order to escape from Ravenloft. There you go. Oh god, that's painful. Who wrote that one, Sam? Please. Oh my god, it's painful. Yeah. 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 That's cool. And then goes to Sigil where Monty. Cook also returned at to Temple of Elemental Evil too. So
we can't forgive him for that one.
God. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't.
But he's
was
awesome.
it Monty?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. What I would say is your NPCs can be the guy, Drake Mead, the guy at the Salty Dog, or it could be anyone, right?
Yeah.
Or
Could be a chipmunk.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But some NPCs just take on a life because they're part of something fun. The die rolls this way, and the players interact with him, and it
100%.
becomes fun. And that's when you give them a name and they become a story. I had one little first level little henchman that ran around and wanted to join someone, and he was a little urchin that was running around and just wanted to have a chance in life, and he became a major NPC in the campaign. And he was, as one of the players said, I'm going to have him. He's my future character. When my character dies, I'm going to play him. And then he became someone that tagged along and leveled up with the party, and he became the party took him on. The players took him under his wings, and they started running him as their NPC, and it became awesome. And he was just. He was just the stat block of a few like local hoodlums that whatever, and they just
And
yeah,
in rare instances, NPCs can become PCs. I'll
yes.
give you an example. Curtis has really taken over Fritz Winchester, who was always an NPC.
Yeah,
he was an NPC to start in the Bloody Brethren. He's in Horror in the Holes as a character you can play, and it just took him over because it just had a life of its own.
Yeah,
and so,
that's how I run my Shieldlands campaign now during playtests and stuff, is that I come up with NPCs in different levels that are just personalities in the campaign and let the players play them, so they have just become pre-gens for the adventures.
So this
Because
is-
that way I
yeah,
can test different things. I can tailor them to whatever I need to for the story and test it, and then say these are the pre-gens and go with it. So they are basically all the NPCs. So in that way, I don't see a big difference. And when you run a sandbox, these creatures are in that area. Let the players play them and see what happens.
So let me go back on this Monty Cook thing. I'm going to say this: when someone else writes something you don't like, it sticks with you, and I mean that's probably not the way I should.
But
I should be
no,
100%.
but also, yeah,
but, like,
meaning Monty Cook had written so much awesome stuff and
Yeah.
created now
Right.
rule systems and with the cipher system and all
Right,
that cool stuff,
absolutely.
and proven himself over and over again in the industry as
Absolutely.
one of the best designers,
Sure, McLeod,
whatever.
absolutely.
But on
just-
the other hand, as a Greyhawk designer, that was probably not his best day, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he's proven that over and over again that he's a great guy and an awesome designer. So yeah.
Yep.
And I've met him a couple of times and seen and listened to a couple of his seminars and stuff. And he,
100%. But
Mhm.
sometimes the setting can, one little thing can set you off for the rest of your life. And so
Yeah.
I found it with
yeah.
him and the Vampire Thrall.
And to me, it's the premise of the Return to the Temple of Elemental Lever that I
Makes
don't
no
like.
sense.
The rest of it's kind of it's and production values. It looks cool. The image on the front looks awesome and so on and so forth. So it's more like the premise of the adventure I have the issue with. Yeah.
Audience have any questions for any of us? We're way ahead of time, so we're good. We can talk about a lot more coming up. So I'll say that you can have a lot of fun with NPCs, whether they're published source or not. And some of them are just like, thank you, old. The extra level under the motor. Yeah, thank you. It was good. Yeah, there's all sorts of and people can have their own opinion. So in the initial, all right, I'll give you an example. And here's like a legendary character that technically is not Greyhawk, that got pushed into Greyhawk by both Tim and myself, and that is this. And this is a Miracle of the Chaotic, right?
Yes.
One of the greatest pictures of all time. And we've seen the picture of the actual street.
Oh, it's roads in Greece.
Yes, absolutely. But published source-wise, a Miracle of the Chaotic is in the Apocalypse Stone, and he's a wild mage. And he has his own pocket plane, which is really cool, and you have to go there. So, during our first ever fundraiser, and I played in that, he was the nemesis in the first ever fundraiser event we ever did. And it was based on an orb of the dragon kind, trying to locate that. And that was adventure, fundraiser number 1. Now we're on 8 for St. Jude. Just note, there is published source information on a Miracle, not particularly Greyhawk, but I brought him into my Greyhawk, and Tim was 100% on that because he loves a Miracle of the Chaotic as well. Tim's used a Miracle of the Chaotic in his game as well. So there you go. Yep. He's also, that's it, Paladin in Hell, Valmoko, not the Apocalypse Stone. Thank you. It's Paladin in Hell. My apologies. You're absolutely correct. Thank you for the clarification there, Michael.
I think McLeod has a wonderful question.
Yeah. Let's see here. Purely selfish, but I'm open to ideas and guidance. I'm running TOE starting tomorrow. Any tips? All right. So, are you running Hamlet or are you running TOEE? Okay. Are you starting with Hamlet? That's question number 1.
I think you should.
Yeah.
It's too good to oversee, so to speak.
Are you starting with T0 that Joe Block wrote? You want to go back that far? You may want to do that.
Should. Yep.
Let me see if I can bring that up for you.
Yeah. And also my advice is that linger with Hamlet for a bit, because it's a cool sandbox that you can let your players get sucked in, and you as a DM can get sucked into the setting, because there are subplots, so you can go around visiting things and just enjoy that for a few sessions, get the campaign going, and don't worry about shoveling them onto the next meeting. Let them enjoy the area, discover things, and so you can get set up things and get into your creative juices, so to speak.
Got a great NPC in Hamlet with Otis.
Yes.
Yes, and that's another Luke character, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you go to Joe Block's site, Greyhawk Grognard, you should be able to download this for free. Okay, I think it's free, and this is someplace in New Jersey, Greyhawk Grognard. This module contains a map of the forest, detailed maps of bandit hideouts, and information on many encounters can be found in the forest. I would get this and maybe even supplement it. Now, here's the thing that's going to happen to you when you run Temple Elemental Evil, because I've done it twice. When you get to Hamlet, you want to slow it down. You do not want to go right to the temple, to the moat house. You do not want to clear out the moat house in one sitting. And you want, once those characters are, you got to get those characters to 3rd or 4th level before you get to Nulb. You're gonna have to do a lot of sidebar adventures. There's a cemetery there. There's bandits all around. There's humanoids all around. There's elemental evil factions. There's bad guys like Zert and Hamlet. There's all sorts of things there, McLeod. You need to you need to stretch it out, because you do not want to go into Nulb under level, underpowered.
Yeah, and also my advice is that
take your
treat it
time.
as a stepstone sandbox. First, you look at the journey to Hamlet and Hamlet as its sandbox, and you read up so you have a good understanding of every point in that setting, so you don't have to sit and read the adventure during the actual play session. So when they go over to that building, you know who's there, and you have a basic idea of how to run the people or the creatures, and then you just run wild with it. Let them go with them. When they interact with Jeru the druid, you're Jeru the druid, and you play him as you see fit to the best, and then sparks will fly, or daggers will fly, or whatever, and let it happen, so to speak.
You want to do one mission for Jeru the druid as well. He's higher level. You want to make him an ally. Okay, and Druid, which is cool. You want to do that. This is T5. If you don't want to do, I hate the nodes. I never did them. But this is beneath the Temple Elemental Evil. Get this as well from Joe Block. This is T5. This makes a change to what is beneath the 4th level. You actually have a 5th level here with some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This ties into Q2, doesn't it?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. So you want to get this as well.
Yeah.
Just look at it, and if you don't want to utilize it, don't. But it's another good thing that Joe did. All right, so get them both. Yep. So you have two options there: T0 and T5 to supplement your T1 to 4. Yeah, the nodes confuse the hell out of me too. I would skip it.
Oh yeah, me too. But also meaning you have Hamlet as a sandbox, and then you have the moat house as a sandbox, and then you have Nulb as the next sandbox, and then you have the temple as a sandbox, and then
in and out.
Exactly, exactly. So you can go there many times, and you can introduce other things you see fit in the surrounding area, and then you have the temple itself and down under the temple, so to speak.
This is at my old house there, McLeod. This is, and I had no underlays at the time. This is the entire Village of Hamlet on my table. Okay, so that is the Burn and Rufus, and every building on the map is in this noted. Yeah, and look how all these pictures are really old and dated. But there's Jeru's Grove right here. Right, there it is. And everything is out, and every single location is noted here. I did not miss a single one. And there's an abandoned building back here. I think it's behind this.
With Cuthbertian temple next to it.
Yeah, it's near the temple. Let me see if I got here. It is. So I think it's this one here. No, it's this one right here. See this building right here? There's an abandoned building that they can use as a base of operations. So check that out too. It's a good, just give you some ideas. Very few pictures are left from my old house in Stratford. But like it's 1/10 the size of my new basement. As you can see, some of the old miniatures here over on this thing over here. But yeah, I only had 2 sets of shelves instead of 40. Yeah, it was
I'm laughing at Patrick.
What's that? I peed on that tree.
That's the far left one. That's awesome.
There you go. Hopefully that'll help you.
Yep. So, and best of luck.
You'll have a blast
McLeod.
with it.
Yep. That's awesome. Yep.
Don't rush Hamlet is the number one
exactly.
thing.
Just go with it.
Go slow. Make them earn it. There are
Mhm.
plenty of bad guys. You have that.
Yep.
You have that monk and his functionally odd friend.
Yeah, and you have some ruffians at the mill,
yeah,
and there's
yeah.
some, and there's some, and there's
Yeah.
the merchant that is a slimy
Yeah.
kind of prick too, and there's some others that you can
Thanks,
use
Bone.
them, and as long as the players have fun, just keep at it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's a lot of great NPCs. So yeah, also set up a way for them to transport bodies back to Verbal if they need raised deads.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no high level cleric there. Burn is a mage, Rufus is a
Yep.
fighter, so you're not going to get
Yep.
any.
And one other thing is that just because
Steve
they
Williams' character was one of those. Was it
okay,
Burn
yeah.
or Rufus? I forget which one.
Yeah. And one other advice is that
Yeah.
just because you leave Homlet and go to the moat house doesn't mean that
Right.
everything with the Homlet disappears. If they make enemies in Homlet, they will remain enemies, and that can make it difficult.
Yeah.
What happens in Homlet can make it easier or more difficult when they
give me
get
one
to the
sec.
moat house, etc., so to speak. So friends and enemies might help or hinder them in the future, so to speak, as you move on.
Give me a second here.
Yeah. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So just because they advance to the next sandbox, so to speak, that means that the first one still exists and can still come back and haunt them or help them. If they strike up a good relations with Byrne, Rufus, and Otis, that might help them going forward, or vice
That'll help
versa.
them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they screw it up with Burns and Rufus, for instance, then that will get worse because then no one will come and help them or whatever. So yeah.
All right. You ready, McBoy? Here's my recommendation in order. Okay. And Anna's may be different, but we're going old school here. You want all the base stuff. Number one, the original 1980 glossography book. Okay. Base stuff. All right. This is where I started. Now some people say skip this. No, don't skip it.
No, read that one too. Yeah.
Yep. 2. Whoops. 2 is the box set from 1983. Right. A lot of the stuff with glossography is in there, but not all of it. Okay. The levels of the leaders aren't in this book, but the names are. What a mess. So yeah, and this is this is where a lot of the old schools go. Oh, you start here. No, I start in 80. All right. Number 3, Greyhawk Adventures book by Jim Ward. I think it's 88. Okay. It's kind of a crossover book between first and second edition. Lastly, Free City Greyhawk box set.
I would add the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer because there are some overviews, stories about backstories about the setting that I think are cool to read.
Okay.
That I think are cool because they give you the overview, the 10,000 mile picture, which might be so that way you can place the temple in the setting in a way that you didn't do in the early. Yeah.
A lot of this is post-war stuff, though, Anna, and so,
but you still get the idea of where the temple can be and the factions and stuff if you want to go there, so to speak. So
if
you
want
want
to
to
get that, though, you got to get From the Ashes, then, right? So that's
well,
what I'm saying.
this one sums up what's happening in the From the Ashes too very well. So yeah.
Right, but they maybe go, well, what happened here? Why is 10 gone? You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm not saying that you should read all of it.
Right.
I'm just saying that you should read things that tie into directly, meaning
Yes.
there are a little bit of back because there's so much backstory in this one that is not even invented in the earlier ones that I think is really worth it.
Dennis, link your map to your site. When you get the Free City Greyhawk box set, don't use that map. Use the Malden map all the way. Okay.
Yep.
The Malden map is awesome. Let me go to Greyhawk here. Let me go to maps. I know I have it.
But also, you don't need to visit the city of Greyhawk to run a Temple of Elemental Evil campaign.
You don't. But he's asking for what's the key stuff to get. I love it because you get the Circle of 8 is noted in there. All the high level priests are in there.
Yeah,
it's a spot where you can get.
And that's what I'm also meaning in Living Greyhawk Gazetteer. A lot of that stuff is in there, and you get ideas you can work with in that one.
Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
That's my
There's Malden's
2
map.
cents. Yep.
That's the Greyhawk map you want to use for the city. All right. Yep. But that's a supplement. Malden's completely redone that. Malden's going to link it. I was going to link
Yep.
his site. No problem. I know we're giving you guys a lot of information, and that's
Mhm.
why we're here. You know, so all these years of experience and knowledge. All right, Jeff. What other
Yep.
questions do you have, or what commentary you want to make in this final 10 minutes?
Well, I
Thank you for
kind
coming
of.
on too.
Oh yeah,
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 thank you.
yeah. It was really just that one question I threw out there, the disruptor question, which is,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was awesome.
with
Talk a little bit at the
1,000. I mean, you're at adventure what, 1,100, 1,200? Have you
end.
cracked yet?
1178.
1178. So you got 1,178 adventures, and it's like, how much of that could be a framework for world building for DMs? And again, I don't want to
Yeah, no.
touch on things that's like, don't talk about that yet, it's coming. But really, you've got a framework that parallels Greyhawk in terms of detail, in terms of characters, in terms of history, in terms of a framework that if people wanted to play out of that region, there's enough there that it's like, is that something on the horizon? That was really the question. Was,
Well, I
when are
appreciate
you going to
that, Jeff.
take that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the reboot of the Altamira project with Troller Games, that's going to be a spot. Like I'm running a lot with especially with all this, a whole female group and a lot of groups. I'm running them right out of Altamira because I don't want to confuse people too much. Because
Right.
when I have the regular guys, we're here, we're in Harby. Then next week we're in Greyhawk City. Then next week we're in Vesby Forest. Then we're all over the place, right? With those groups because it's a tuna fish transient penalty. They just they want to be all doing all that stuff, which I understand. But lately, I keep the Altamira storylines right now of all the Greyhawk All-Star groups. It works very well, but that has the most built up. But their story, the Pomar stories, the Pomar's Pushback stories are fun. The Harby stories are awesome, especially the war in Harby was unbelievable, and it was a blast. It was a blast. There's a lot of I appreciate it, Jeff. It's coming, but it's going to be down the road. We got to see, got to walk before we run. If this book
Yep.
is successful and they like it, then it'll lead to other things. This is supposed to be
Gotcha.
one of three. We're supposed to have 3 books for this adventure, running through for multiple levels all the way through, and we're going to be detailing stuff in the areas. Like I said, there's an NPC that I love, that's obscure, that I got to write the creation history for this book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can find an NPC where there's just a little corner that you can just flesh out and work with, and then you're not touching on anything. You can just kind of run with it.
And that's going to happen in book 3 as well, because, and I'll give this away, everyone. So, book 1, Shillin's Horn Society. Book 2's Fioranti, White Sill, maybe skirting the Vespi a little bit. Book 3 runs Vespi High Folk up into Ayus, right? But there's a little reference to the Torch of Groomsh that's in the Marklands books. There's a mention in the Marklands and Ayus the evil, and these are the orcs that hate Ayus, but they're indigenous evil orcs to the Vespi. I can't wait to expand on this story. It's Sergeant original stuff in book 3. I am so excited about writing about that down the road because they're interesting. All their priests plucked one eyeball out, so they have they want one eye like Groomsh and all, and they're lawful evil, but they hate the Orogs, they hate the Ayus, Selbit orcs, they hate them because they're not indigenous. So the enemy of my enemy can be my friend, which actually happened in my campaign
right
down the road, and that is something
right.
I'm looking forward to, which is just a blurb somewhere, as you said, one paragraph. So. Do you use my VTT submaps? Well, Dennis, I don't use any VTTs, so I don't use any submaps. Everything's on my table, but maybe someone else does. Did you link, Dennis? Did you link your site? I didn't
Yep,
see.
he
Okay,
did.
you
He
did?
linked. Yep. Mhm.
If you got that link, please link that up too, man. We want you to use your stuff. The greatest website still in existence, by far. The only one left from the original Greyhawk Webbing, Jeff, is Malden's. Yeah. And at one point there was like 30 of them.
Web Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking Fall Mocha. That's it. Yep. Yeah. Dennis is awesome. Should have been at GaryCon. You got to go to GaryCon, Dennis. So, well, Jeff, man, thanks for all the 10 update too. I mean, I'm really excited about all that. And so, yeah, so your OSR, you got to split out somehow, right?
Yep. And there's always the possibility if things take off, maybe I can write a new campaign on the retaking of the 10, since they're in exile. Maybe they'll get lucky and things
Yeah,
will
man.
break, and
Post-living
that'll
Greyhawk,
push
or
me.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
it's a rich source, but it'll
absolutely.
be interesting to see how things spell out with the future. Now all they need is another D&D movie,
Hmm.
And
because
A Greyhawk movie.
that
this time.
last one really did help ignite the community. That, and we talked about that in the previous show about
Yeah.
Stranger Things, but
Yep.
that movie did a lot to help. And yeah, I agree with you, Anna. That would be really great to tap into some of the Greyhawk characters, to really start to bring that into the forefront of the community's
Meaning
consciousness.
it's not beyond the realm of possibility to get some sort of stuff if it's successful. Meaning
But
Dragonlance is in the making. Forgotten Realms got its stuff. You never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
but there were some bit.
Not yet, but who
not-
knows in 5 years or
Yeah.
or longer.
We,
Yeah.
we if this resurgence works, let's hope it does. I think it will.
Yeah.
Bringing the gritty
We'll
Greyhawk back.
we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will see. We will see. You never know. You never know what could
Well,
bad things could
we
happen.
old farts that will criticize the hell out of it probably need to die first before this happens, but that's another side of the story. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but with that, we got some. Hey, what's up there, Ty? We got some really fun things coming up, which is wonderful. Anna, anything you want to shout out?
First of all, I'm sorry I haven't posted and stuff. I've been catching up like crazy after I got back because I lost like 10, 12 days or almost 2 weeks of stuff. Now I feel like I'm back where I should have been coming back from GaryCon. I've set up, so now I'm going to produce textures and all that stuff for basically, yeah, for a lot of stuff, so to speak. So it was a lot of the grunt work that just needed to be done. Now I feel like I'm finally getting there. So it's good. And there's been so much commission stuff being juggled back and forth too. And and I have started saying no to a whole bunch of stuff, which probably I will regret later, but that's another side of the story. They caught me at the wrong time, so to speak. But it's good that people want me to do things. It's just sorry that we get squished a little bit. But things are coming. Yeah, but it take a little while, but it will be worth it. So yeah.
All right. You're supposed to keep on talking, Anna, because I didn't bring up this stuff yet. Well, give me 1 second
Yep.
here.
Yeah. So there's both more banners and a heck of a lot of other stuff in the making, so to speak. Because now I've been producing for worked hours and hours and hours for this week, and now it's starting to be there. So it's I'm going to put it together in Photoshop, and it's starting to be things to look at. So yep.
Okay, I got it all.
Yep, it took a little while. I was gone for a week at GaryCon, and then I was ill for almost a week coming home. So
Hey, Josh.
that combination kind of set me back a bit. So yeah.
All right. So here's what's going on this week. Hopefully, Ever Mysterious Tim can come on Wednesday night because he's an expert on this stuff. And because Mike won't be on, we're going to do the Dungeoneers and Wilderness Survival Guides which we've never done on Legends of Lore.
Underrated books. They are
Plus, I got
really
the
really
addendums
cool.
now,
Yep.
thanks to the community last night. I got the.
Oh, you got addendums?
Yeah, the addendum books. I didn't even know they existed for each.
Me neither. So please indulge
I'll send
me.
them to you.
Yeah.
I'll send them to you.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
I did not even know they existed, and Curtis and like Norker's like, oh yeah, these are great, and so they sent them over to me, which is really cool, and we'll go over that. And so
because they are really cool. They're not super Greyhawk related, but they are awesome in a lot of ways.
Tim's an expert on using the non-weapon proficiencies. If he can't make it, I'm going to try and get another replacement.
And they have awesome cartography in them that are really, really cool. Still unsurpassed in a lot of they're unsurpassed in a lot of ways. Yeah,
yep, absolutely.
To this day.
Yeah, they're good old first edition stuff. Then we got two great games Thursday and Saturday. Thursday, all right, Pursuit of Truth Part 2. So I showed you the pictures already of the fire and Thunder Lips and Gom the Confident going berserk. So look at this group still. We got Tiffany, we got Myriad, Show Me the Dice, Korg, Phantom, and Tom all playing in this, all with their characters. And we'll see what happens. That portal is active because all 3 items to activate it are there. And we'll see where that jump through goes. And that'll be part 2, Pursuit of Truth. That's number 1178. Then on Saturday morning, Ruins Awaiting, number 1179. So we have a lot of the same players, but we have Show Me the Dice Myriad. Bella's back. She hasn't played in a while. Spuckles Mandy's playing. Cherry Blossom's playing, and Curtis and Brett have both confirmed. I took a guess. They're both in this, and they're fairly new characters. They're Coldwell characters, not the crazy ones that are Fritz descendants, but these are kind of semi-normal ones. So that'll be the group for Saturday morning, 11 a.m. and that'll be a Frog Night giveaway. And then Gabbin will be next Sunday, but in 2 Sundays, Ed is back. I haven't decided what the topic is yet, but Ed will be back in 2 Sundays from tonight. Or in the stream, just talking topics we want to talk about. So, yeah. Closing in at 1,200. Yes, Stefan. It's sped up every year because I do more and more and more stuff. So, yeah, it'll be a fun time. But, it took me 2020, summer 2024. Summer of 2024, we passed, I think it was 2024. Maybe in I think it was 24. We passed 1,000 adventures after 40 some years. And now I've already done 179 in the next 2 years, 2 years. It's sped up. That can't be right. Maybe it was 23. But I'm doing a lot more adventures per year, almost 70. So It won't take me another 20 years to do. Yeah, it's sped up a lot. So it'll be fun. So there you go. That's what's going on. Along with all the other stuff, we'll have other content. We're planning the 24-hour stream for July. We'll have fundraiser streams that we had. Tiffany's game that Curtis won, and also a gentleman named Sean spent $1,000 at GaryCon for a game where I'm DMing for him and 3 of his friends, and Ed and Tiffany are playing in the game with their characters. So we'll have that coming up on the channel as well. They did $120,000, which was a record at GaryCon for the Children's Hospital in Wisconsin. And if you saw the posts, by the way, and that's where the error is that I'm trying to clarify. You saw the post Luke put out. Thank you, Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn bid $5,000 on the Jeff Easley art. That's the cover of our book, right? So, but then there was a mistake in it, and I've been trying to correct it. And Morris told me, well, Luke said it, and you're just an anonymous account. I said, okay, no problem, whatever.
Well, it was more like a clarification that something really wrong, so to speak.
Here it is. On EN World, Mouse Guide to Greyhawk is called the Shieldlands. As actor Vince Vaughn gives cover artwork to Luke Gygax. Well, that's incorrect. It's not. No, it's in the Shieldlands. It's not called.
My guess is that of course he asked what the picture was on the picture or whatever, and Luke kind of described and talked something about Shieldlands, and that made it into the yeah. So it's all good. You can forgive him for the coffee theft, sure, absolutely. Well, other than that, thanks for all the. I'm so glad we have so many viewers tonight. Let's do the giveaway. Yeah.
And it'll go. If you're outside the continental U.S., I will give you in lieu of Troll Lord gift certificates. All right. Canada, I can do. I can't do like Poland. All right. So with this for Black Oak, let's do that up. All right. Ready? See who wins, and we're gonna raid into Marquee tonight again. Or I don't know who we raided into last week. Mandy's not on yet, so we'll do Marquee again. Here we go. Here. By the way, that raid I did with Sovida the other night, that Twitch partner, she followed the stream, and we've been talking. She's like really interested in playing in the future.
Cool.
So she's got 166,000 followers. So
holy cow.
and play D&D. Yeah. So I was So let's hope she will play down the road. I think it would be really cool. All right, here we go. Here, let me get to the right page. All right, let's go. Here we go. I'm going to close it out. I'll give you 5 seconds if you haven't done it already. Get in on that. And we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I raided into her and just talked to her. That's it. You gotta sometimes you have to. It's okay to hear no, right? Bane, it's okay. Sometimes you. I don't mind hearing no. But like, if I don't ask and I don't like reach out, then I will never.
Right.
I'll never know. Winner is Man Sparkles Mandy is the winner. Da-na-da-da-na. You win.
Awesome.
Congrats.
It was
Congrats.
Yeah.
rigged. You win the Red Dragon dice with the bag. So
Yep.
I got your address. I'll send it out to you. There you go. Congrats. That'll go out tomorrow morning. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for coming on, Anna. Thank you. See you all.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
Of
thank
course.
you both.
We will
Yep.
have. So we got a big meeting tomorrow night for the project, and then just so you're aware, and then we will continue onward with some fun stuff. We'll see you Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday morning, Friday, Sunday night next week, 4 times. All right. Hit the wrong button here, probably. I hit a right button. That's Mandy. Sit the raid up. Raid. It's so hard to type in. There we go. Very nice. Go and get in 70 or 80, really bump them up. That'd be awesome. Mark and Rachel are really nice people. Alrighty, nice. 76. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you Wednesday night. Thanks. Black. Awesome. Fun discussion.